What's the best way to invest in your 30s? Well, it's definitely not what you were thinking. What works for the greatest organizations, largest religions, and most impactful brands can massively impact your family for generations to come. You work hard to provide for your family, but by following these 3 ways to invest, you don't have to work to provide for your family and their families. Instead, your family will be able to provide for themselves as well as for your heirs. Let's start with Jim Spear. Jim Spear's 75 years old, and he had this business when I first met him doing just about $1 million. It's now at 10 million 3 years later. The most amazing thing is he decided to invest in his kids. So his kids are in their 30s that are now spending 4 or 5 hours in the business taking some of the things he's not good at, like operations and details and the numbers, and freeing him up for imagination and vision and creation and collaboration. And now he's telling me, dude, I hope I can live long enough to see this whole thing come to fruition. But he's already handing down opportunity to his kids and investing in them and their skill sets, and it's been amazing what it's done for their business. Or take Rich Christensen, raising 5 amazing kids that paid for their own vacations as teenagers, their own philanthropy, their own clothes, their higher education. He didn't pay for any of that. And one of his kids did almost $1 million in revenue while they were still in high school. This wasn't by accident. Sound crazy? You think this was just clickbait? Well, let me break this family investment down into 3 simple parts for you. Number 1 is rituals. Investing in your heirs. This is absolutely key. Great businesses have meetings, they have habits, they have rhythms, and people work together on projects. So if you're going to do this with your own family and invest in your family, have family meetings. You know, how can you support each other? That's the first question to ask. What are skill sets are you looking to develop? What are you excited about? What are you having difficulty with? And I like to begin my meetings focusing on gratitude. My kids are 11 and 14 at this time, so we have a little gratitude called the 5-Minute Journal for Kids, and they just write some gratitude to get in the right mindset. Then we brainstorm things we could do as a family, whether it's trips and vacations or whether it's a business. We're talking about this thing called yourfieldofbattle.com, which would be like we bring these obstacle courses to birthday parties or schools and have these Nerf guns, and then they officiate and we help set up, and we could do that as a family, right? That's an idea we had in one of these meetings. That's investing. I wish I would have started this earlier. My kids are 11 and 14, but I really started this in my late 30s. If I'd have started this right when I was 30, oh man, I look at what Rich did with his 5 kids. So I want to give you this framework, because as a matter of fact, you can go to wealthfactory.com/heirs. wealthfactory.com/heirs, and you're going to be able to grab this amazing workbook and even a downloadable PDF that you can click on to figure out what you want your family meeting to look like, where you could define and discover your family rituals. Look, all of these organizations and religions that have this have a lot more success. What about having this, that this is the investment of time and energy into your family so that they're prepared, so that you're connected, so you're stacking the odds in your favor that they're going to want to be around and they're going to want to come back. This is amazing investment, because if not, they're going to be siphoning off your cash in the future. They're going to be dependent forever. You're going to be frustrated about it. They're not going to feel fulfilled. Like, this is absolutely critical. So the second thing, and once again, you'll find a lot of this in there, is you create doctrine. Well, what do we mean by doctrine? We know that in Christianity, you've got the Bible, right? Or in other religions, they've got other, from the Quran or different books. Well, let's look at this doctrine in your family. It's family values, really articulating those. A family mission statement. A family crest that captures the symbolism of your family, just like a business would have a logo. And family rules, so that you have a way to create structure and enforce just like a business would, right? Oh man, what business doesn't have a logo? What business that's great doesn't have a mission or vision or these basic rules? I can't think of a single one. But if you just go through and you go through this workbook, you can select your top values. What I did with my kids is we just circled 7 on our own, and then we came together, and my wife circled 7, and we all did, and we said, is there any that we're all in commonality? Ooh, these 3, we all circled these 3. That is absolutely our top values. Now let's vote on the others, because let's get up to 5 values. And then from those values, let's write kind of like the things that we value, right? And so I actually give examples of our values in there. But then you can sketch out. We brought Uncle Derek in, who's a graphic artist, and he knows our family. We had him sketch out a family crest, right? You can hire someone on 99 Designs or some other similar website to sketch this out, but this is your family logo. I'm actually going to be putting it on t-shirts. Rich Christensen put it on a hat. So it's like a symbol, and we've written a paper right? Like, what does the family crest mean? And our kids actually contributed, and we put little symbolism on there, and it's very meaningful. We actually built a full crest that's like the old medieval metal shield that goes above our mantle at our cabin. Like, this has become an obsession for me, I'll admit. A little bit crazy, but it's exciting, and it's cool to have my family building this together. Then you write your mission statement. And I gotta tell you, using the workbook could be super helpful. I knew for a decade, yeah, I got to write a mission statement. But it wasn't until I saw Rich Christensen's mission statement, right? And then his example, which is also in the workbook. And you can use those as a catalyst to give you a bit of an idea. And we wrote them with our kids. They contributed a little bit. It was more me and my wife. And now we're just trying to get them to live it and understand it by reciting it and saying what it means to them to begin our meetings. So think about this. We're really investing back into the heirs. We've got wealthfactory.com/heirs. Like, you're investing in them so that they're ready in their 30s. And if you're in your 30s and you're making these investments, it's going to be an amazing thing for you. And if you really start in the third section, or the third point here, traditions. Now, we have holiday traditions, whether that's Hanukkah or Christmas, or whether that's Kwanzaa, or whether, that's Thanksgiving. Like, there's the ones that's kind of adopted by society or religions, but I like to create these traditions that are for your family. Like what Rich did, which I love these, is at 12 years old, he has his kids go to a third world country for 3 or 4 weeks. And he spends time in service and mission, and then he has these amazing conversations without technology and distraction, where he's totally bonded and they're willing to listen. And because he's had 5 boys, he says, what does it mean to be a Christensen man? And what does it look like to grow up? And they talk about that. At 14, he does a private victory for them. A private victory for him is they hike a major peak. The last one was Kilimanjaro. They hike that as a family. Difficult, hard to breathe. You go through 8 or 9 climates, like sickness, like the kids don't think they can make it, but when they get there, like, oh my God, I can accomplish so much, and they have a new perspective on the world. Not a public victory that can build arrogance, but a private victory that builds confidence. At 16 years old, he has them build a business. These are, things that help, figure out how does business work, and these are the things that make the most well-known organizations and prominent religions and everything in iconic brands have a framework that can support them. Their traditions do, right? Like, I grew up Catholic. We had a tradition of what we did for Easter. We had traditions of Ash Wednesday and rituals that were behind this, and going to church every week. Like, those types of things, integrate it and weave it into the fabric of your life. Just like someone knitted this little cute little sweater for me that's like a jacket, right? Like, what can you do to weave this into your life? This is a true investment that offers returns well beyond just what's put in. The world is seeing a radical change in kids being unprepared, entitled, completely confused. You can lead your family in a way where they can build a life they love and stack the odds in their favor. They're gonna visit, but not be a permanent resident in your guest room, right? We're at a critical juncture here. And I love this concept of the rituals, the traditions, and the doctrine. And it's kind of like a family retreat and a family mastermind, and investing into people, not just products. So now you have the knowledge to transform your thoughts into profits, the resources too, and a way to build the life that you love. Looking for more on this topic? Check out this video about what the best life instructions are for every family and what they must know. I'll see you there. How can you properly manage your money like the rich? With these 3 building blocks, it could be the difference between supporting your family or destroying your family.